Hello and welcome to this week's edition of News Extra. Tonight promises to be a night of news with truly the extra touch. A lot happened at the Federal Executive Council meeting earlier in the day that those plying the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway as well as residents of Ogoni land will be glad of. Also tonight we have a beat on the prevailing fuel situation and the complexities of petroleum products pricing. Of course, we can't talk enough on the COVID-19 vaccine that have arrived our shores. There is more on it. Good news for both traders and consumers alike as federal government intervenes to end blockade of food and livestock movement from north to south and from Gagara in Niger State to Ijengedi in Zamfara State. The stories are still trending and we have them all here. Beyond all these, there is much more from the National Assembly in the business world, technology, acquisition, transportation, and of course, sports. But until you stay with me, you won't appreciate tonight's outing. After all, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I am Fatima Mabuba, and this is News Extra. I welcome you once again. The Federal Executive Council has approved the change of scope in respect of the ongoing work on Abuja-Kaduna-Kano highway from rehabilitation to full reconstruction. Consequently, the existing contract sum has also been changed from 155 billion naira to 797.2 billion naira. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola announced this while briefing journalists after the meeting of the council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari and State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The 375.9-kilometer Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano road is a critical part of Nigeria's most important highway system, enabling the movement of people and products from the north to the south and vice versa. For the Buhari presidency, the road is key to uniting the Nigerian people and economy. And this informed the Federal Executive Council's approval for the full reconstruction of the road, as explained by Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola.
Council considered and approved the request for that change of scope and the incidental cost consequence to provide for full reconstruction of the main carriageway and also trailer parks, way bridges, toll stations, additional side lanes in the built-up areas across the FCT, Niger State, Kaduna State, and Kano State, which are all served by the road.
The road project will therefore be executed in phases, with Kaduna-Zaria section to be completed in the fourth quarter of next year, while the Zaria-Kano as well as Abuja-Kaduna sections will be finalized in the first and second quarters of 2023 respectively. The minister also briefed the council on the progress of work in respect of the Highway Development Management Initiative aimed at getting the private sector to invest and benefit in road maintenance management and provision of allied services.
We will be handing over 12 routes of about 1,963 kilometers across Nigeria. This value-added concession requires them to maintain the entire right-of-way, provides all of the support services, tolling, towing vehicles, ambulance services, pavement repair, vegetation control, building of rest houses. So it's big business that we expect to see.
The minister, Babatunde Fashola, explained that when the process is complete, the federal government expects nothing less than 1 trillion naira from the private sector investment. And the commencement of the procurement process, he says, will be formally advertised for those interested. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, more than 6 billion naira is to be expended by the federal government on the construction of critical water projects in 4 local government areas of Ogoniland in Rivers State. 10.1 billion naira has also been approved by the Federal Executive Council for the procurement of firefighting facilities for the Federal Fire Service. Again, State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports on this and other resolutions adopted towards enhancing the National Social Investment Program.
The meeting, 7th for the year 2021 and 36th to be held virtually in the new normal, was briefed by the Minister of Environment, Dr. Mahmoud Muhammad, on the level of execution of the Ogoni cleanup as part of implementation of the UNEP report. Consequently, approval has been granted for the provision of potable water to Gokana, Kana, Eleme, and Tae Council areas of Ogoni land.
If you recall, the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, otherwise known as HYPREP, was commissioned in 2016 to clean Ogoni land, impacted areas of Ogoni land, based on a report by United Nations Environment Program, UNEP. The mandate of the project is not just cleaning up the contaminated areas by oil pollution, but also to provide drinking water, and 3, to also provide alternative livelihood for the people of that area.
The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, also secured approval for the award of 2.1 billion naira contract for the design and deployment of the social investment management systems for the National Social Investment Program.
This system is going to be used to take care of the issues of the NPower programs, the JIP program, the National Cash Transfer Program, as well as the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. We're starting with the NPower, which is the one before us, which is very immediate, and after which we're going to also key in other clusters of the National Social Investment Program onto this platform.
Also approved by the Council is the procurement of 79 firefighting facilities, including trucks, water tankers, rapid intervention fire engines, and basic life support ambulances for the Federal Fire Service.
This is to enhance the capacity of the Federal Fire Service to effectively control and manage emergencies relating to fire and search rescue operations.
Contract has also been approved for the deployment of an integrated real-time data repository and security intelligence solution to the Nigerian Immigration Service headquarters in Abuja at 353 million naira.
This again is to ensure that we have on one single platform all the databases of the Nigerian Immigration Service for efficiency and effective management of our data.
From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to the Global Green Energy Initiative, stressing that the forthcoming deployment of 5 million solar power connections targeting 25 million households across the country under the Economic Sustainability Plan is a just transition to net zero emissions by 2050. Vice President Osinbajo made the submissions during a meeting with a delegation of the European Union led by its executive vice president, while maintaining the advocacy that the international community should preserve financing for gas projects in Algeria and other developing countries. During the transition to net zero emission, discussions at the meeting held virtually focused on bilateral investment agreements between Algeria and the EU, cutting across diverse areas, including technology, intellectual property, rights, research and innovations, humanitarian assistance, energy access, and renewable energy. The Vice President said the federal government's commitment to energy transition is firm, As it is considered an area of comparative advantage, the nation is hoping to leverage while working on improving the investment environment, also emphasizing the need to leverage opportunities to build a stronger partnership with the EU in the gas sector. The Vice President said Nigeria will explore the caveat in the EU Green Energy Financing Instrument to seek better ways of financing for gas projects in the country. On his part, the Executive Vice President of the EU Commission spoke on the importance of reviewing investment agreements between Nigeria and the EU, disclosing the Commission's plan to increase its external investment capacities. And the Department of Petroleum Resources is warning petrol retail outlets engaging in hoarding on the dispensing and selling above the price band of 166 naira to desist forthwith. Leading a team for an on-the-spot assessment, Zonal Operations Controller DPR Abuja, Buba Abubakar says, as a regulatory body, DPR will not condone shortchanging of Nigerians. Lydia Sampson was on the DPR monitoring team in Abuja and now reports.
Coming to unravel and nip in the bud some sharp practices currently deployed by some retail outlets, the Department of Petroleum Resources has commenced a clampdown on petrol stations hoarding petrol products in Abuja. The DPR assessment ranges from comparing allocation manifests to ascertain the quantity, checking of dispensing pumps' integrity. Though most petrol stations visited within Abuja metropolis are selling within the stipulated price band, some had issues with pump integrity.
From all indication now, we have started seeing that there are no queues. Most of the stations we visited, the queue have started easing up. I'm advising the marketers to please stop hoarding. We are all out for them, and this exercise will continue till further notice, so they are warned.
The DPR warned against selling in jerrycans to black marketers who hike up prices and often sell adulterated products. A cross-section of motorists shared their experience.
I think the situation is improving. I came here about 30 minutes ago, and I'm about to be served.
Great improvement. It's far more better.
DPR Zonal Controller urged motorists to stop panic buying as an additional supply intervention targeted at retail outlets in Abuja has been deployed to flood supply and ease the problem caused by hoarding. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And in Lagos, motorists have continued to besiege petrol stations across the state in what has been described as panic buying due to hoarding of the products. This situation has caused traffic around some roads where fuel stations are located, while there has been a sharp rise in the cost of transportation. Imole Ayotokedi Ogunfowora has the situation report.
Of the rumored scarcity of fuel across the metropolis, most filling stations are open and are selling fuel to customers. This development reflects the recent statement by the NNPC, which says it has no plans to increase the ex-depot price of petrol in March 2021.
There was speculation at some point that maybe there was going to be some impending scarcity, but I've not experienced that.
Other filling stations that is opened, they are selling above the pump price. I bought 168 against the normal pump price of 160, 162. It's not like the fuel is not, the product is not available. It's available, but it's the price is very high.
In this place we are standing, you can see people are buying their fuel at the normal distance here. So we haven't experienced any queue here.
While some filling stations close early in the evening, others remain shut due to alleged hoarding of fuel.
Nigerians are supposed to enjoy fuel because it belongs to everybody here. In fact, Nigerians should have a price for fuel different from what they sell outside.
Lagosians, however, expressed fear over an imminent fuel scarcity if the situation is not addressed effectively. In Lagos, Imole Ayotokede Ogunfowora, NTA News.
Between June 2018 and July 2019, almost half of the 10.9 million barrels of crude oil allocated for domestic supply was alleged to have been diverted. This cost Nigeria $339 million of revenue deficit. Now, the House of Representatives is set to investigate the matter. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Issue was raised as a matter of urgent public importance by Representative Abubakar Maki Eliman, who pointed out that under the Direct Sales Direct Purchase Scheme (DSDP), refineries of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation were allocated 5.2 million barrels of crude oil in 2018, which allegedly are unaccounted for.
The state of missing critical national revenue and is worried that unless these leakages are plugged, they will deepen the national deficit even further.
House Committee on Petroleum Downstream has been mandated to investigate the need for the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to review upward federal constituencies in the country in line with constitutional provisions as highlighted by the Minority Leader Ndudi Elumelu was adopted at plenary.
From 1999 to date is beyond 10 years, and INEC has not complied with that constitutional provision.
House members also urge authorities to take preventive measures against the outbreak of Ebola disease as moved by Representative Uime Idem.
Mandate the federal government through the Ministry of Health to enhance surveillance at point of entry to respond to any suspected outbreak of Ebola coming from the neighboring countries.
Meanwhile, a bill to establish Chartered Institute of Power Engineers of Nigeria from Representative Sani Bala and a bill to establish Federal University of Agriculture Shaki, Oyo State, sponsored by Olajide Olatubosun, passed second reading. Plenary featured first reading of 14 bills from the National Assembly. Lami Ali, NTA News.
The National Assembly Joint Committee on Petroleum Industry Bill says all the demands of oil-producing host communities in Delta State will be properly addressed for equity and fairness prior to the passage of the bill. The co-chairman of the committee, Mohammed Mongonu, led other members in the company of the State Deputy Governor, Deacon Kingsley Otuaru, to assess the level of environmental degradation in oil-producing communities in Delta State. Austin Edemodu has the report.
Environmental degradation and its impact on aquatic life and the ecosystem due to oil exploration has been a major challenge for oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta region. For almost 20 years, the Petroleum Industry Bill, which is to partly address the concerns of these communities, is still receiving attention at the National Assembly. The equity shares of the host communities on the profits of the oil companies has been the bone of contention, among other things. The communities are demanding 10% equity shares against the proposed 2.5% in the bill. The seriousness attached to the matter has brought the National Assembly Joint Committee on Petroleum Industry Bill, a company of the State Deputy Governor, Deacon Kingsley Otuaru, to Delta State to assess the plight of the communities for necessary action.
It's as a result of the exploitation of oil in their environment that there is no longer aquaculture and agriculture. So no amount of resources deployed to these communities can be said to be too much.
The tour was rounded off with an interactive session with the ethnic nationalities, which was equally attended by the Deputy Governor. The Joint Committee on the Petroleum Industry Bill has, however, assured the communities of urgent action so as to pass the bill for the overall interests of Nigerians. Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
I'll ask this question. Have you been bothered about the non-existence of an operational specialized national center for the treatment of skin diseases in Nigeria? Well, if yes, then the consideration of one bill by the Senate will excite you. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Onkwo tells us about this bill and its status so far.
Wednesday's plenary was an opportunity for the legislators to reflect on the dangers of not having an operational and specialized center for the treatment of skin diseases in Nigeria. And when Senator Aishatu Dahiru's bill on the National Dermatology Hospital Garkida Establishment Bill came for second reading, it was unanimously adopted.
And the Dermatology Hospital Garkida Adama State naturally fits all the requirements for a national dermatology hospital.
The benefit of people of Northeast, not only in Northeast, but other Nigerians who used to go to India and all the places to treat their skin diseases.
Look at skin cancer as we speak today. Mr. President, you see those that are affected with this and the kind of money that they are using to go around the world to find cure.
It was so effective because the missionaries who were managing this center proved truly the ingenuity and expertise.
Revitalizing and re-energizing this hospital, which has been a referral center, is something that is desirable.
In recognition of the potential benefits of the Federal University of Health and Medical Sciences, Suleja, its establishment bill sponsored by Senator Sani Musa and that of the University Teaching Hospitals Amendment Bill sponsored by Senator Umaru Tanko Almakura also passed second reading.
The need to vastly increase the practical content of student training and adequate preparation for graduates for self-employment in medicine and allied professions.
Quote and unquote, to read P, the Federal University Lafayette Teaching Hospital.
Senator Jibrin Issa's motion called for the immediate completion of the Abadiba Egume power plant project in the Kina local government area of Kogi State, while Senator Sadiq Umar drew the attention of the Senate to the immediate need to commence work on the suspended Badagry-Sokoto Expressway.
Concerned that the project has become one of the abandoned projects in the country, as no effort has been made to complete it in line with the laudable intentions of the government.
To ease carriage of goods across the borders as it connects Apapa seaports and semi-land border.
Government doesn't have to provide every funding for all the roads in Nigeria. There are some roads that we can do, construct or build through PPP.
Senate concurred on two bills, the Plant Variety Protection Bill and the Institute of Agricultural Establishment Bill. These are bills already passed by the House of Representatives but needed approval of the Senate. The Senate has adjourned to Tuesday, the 9th of March, 2021. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Well, thank you so much, Ignatius Nkwo, for that. And talking about COVID-19 vaccines that arrived our shores yesterday, let's talk about it. And we have joining me in the studio to discuss it, the Manager Incident Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. We have Dr. Mukhtar Mohammed. It's good to have you on News Extra tonight.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having me.
Well, it's exciting. So many people are excited about the vaccine that just, arrived our shores. So give us a brief, layman's explanation of the scientific procedure that guarantees the efficacy and the safety of the vaccine.
Okay, so regarding the efficacy, it's determining how effective is the vaccine when it is used. Mm-hmm. Now, this vaccine that came into Nigeria, the Oxford AstraZeneca, has been tested in many countries, and it has gone the 3 phases of trial, and it has been pre-qualified and certified by WHO for emergency use. So for WHO to do that, it has to certify that the vaccine is effective and it has the required efficacy. This particular vaccine has an efficacy of between 64 and about 80%. So that means that in 80% of the cases, it will be able to achieve the objective, which is not to allow the person that has been vaccinated to manifest the disease when he has come into contact with COVID-19. So some of the safety measures that are taken is to ensure that the vaccine, in all the people that it was tried, which is over 1,000 people, the documentation is made about any side effects of the vaccine. And that has also been certified that it is safe to use.
So what exactly, is the sort of quality assurance NAFDAC is expected to carry out?
So NAFDAC received a documentation about the contents of the vaccine. What ingredients are there? What is the solvent? What are the temperature requirements and the rest? So NAFDAC is going to test the vaccine to determine, are these ingredients the same as the ingredients that are listed on the documentation? So that is number one. The second one is NAFDAC to make sure that there is no other ingredient that is inside that vaccine that is known to have some harmful effect in humans. So once NAFDAC does these laboratory checks, they will certify that yes, the vaccine is what they say it is, that is efficacious, and also it is safe for use in our population. And this has been done in many other countries. Every country that is receiving the vaccine will also do the same process.
Yes, talking about other countries, we're aware that the old people's home, in the US and other climes, recorded high mortality rate. So has the availability of these vaccines there now, changed the story in any way?
Absolutely. We read about what happened in the United Kingdom in the old people's home. Where there was a very high incidence or positivity rate of COVID-19. Now immediately, because they were one of the priority groups that got vaccinated, and immediately after that vaccination, the cases from those centers became zero.
Wow. That's a very, very good one, I must say. So now what factors could affect, the potency of this vaccine we're talking about, and how can they be prevented?
So the vaccine have specifications. They must be stored between the temperatures of 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. That is, they must be refrigerated. And our normal refrigerators will do that. They should not be exposed unnecessarily to sunshine or to heat, because that will also alter the composition of the vaccine. And they should not be diluted with any other chemical or liquid, outside what has been provided in the guidance. So if we maintain this, we're able to maintain the cold chain, to maintain the temperature, and to minimize exposure to sunlight. These are the major things that would affect the potency of the vaccine.
Okay, so lastly, what do you have to say to Nigerians out there?
I think I want to urge Nigerians, I want to encourage Nigerians to come out and really register for this vaccination, because we know that vaccination can help reduce the burden of the infection. We know that it will not eliminate COVID-19 completely. We've had yellow fever and measles vaccines that have been administered all over the world for over 50 years now, and we still have cases of measles and yellow fever.
Okay.
With COVID-19, it is going to be the same thing. And one precaution, or one last comment we would make, is that people will come back and tell us that some people have taken the vaccine and yet they came down with COVID-19. That is going to happen in a few cases, just like we have seen with measles vaccination.
You talked about register. I don't understand. Can you please clarify? Do you have to register, and where are you registering for people that want to?
The process for COVID-19 registration is slightly different from our vaccination process for routine immunization.
Okay.
So this has a component where you can pre-register. There is a website which I can put on the screen. People can go and log in on that website, register your name, your age. You can even choose the center where you prefer to be vaccinated, and you will be contacted on the time, when your turn is for the vaccination.
Well, thank you so very much, Incident Manager, Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Mukhtar Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. The rebuilding efforts of the All Progressives Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, led by Governor Mai Mala Buni, has rekindled hope among party faithful. Party stalwarts have commended particularly the ongoing membership registration and revalidation exercise, attracting more members, including the opposition. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
Although the re-registration and revalidation of APC members have commenced nationwide in February 2021, the exercise has just commenced in the Federal Capital Territory. As such, party faithful, including the former chairman and presidential candidate of the defunct Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, ABDA, Shitu Mohammed, were among those who used the platform to show solidarity to the APC.
I've registered today to join other Nigerian leaders that have vision and mission for Nigerian that will take Nigerian to a greater height. From today, we are joining to build a strong political party.
It's about time we begin to play proper party politics, where citizens make sure they register and they participate at their ward meetings and use that level to call the respective governance structures to order.
They advocate for a two-political party system, considering the support the two major political parties are enjoying in Nigeria. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
What, in your opinion, should be the best form of punishment for rapists? Well, mine is definitely not what the menfolk would smile at. So, when News Extra returns from the first break that beckons, we shall tell you the Jigawa example of dealing with the dreaded monster called rape. Please join us again.
See some magic? Let's blow some minds! Now, as you can all see, these cards have different numbers written on them. Can you all see? Yeah! You, sir, please, I want to pick any card. Oh my goodness. You, my princess, you have my heart already. Just pick any card. Now, I want to show cards to the audience and don't let me see them. So I want to place the card in your pocket. So what if I told you all these cards are the same? Okay, sir, I want to show us your card. Just wait a second. I want to check into your beautiful shoe. As you can all see, all the numbers are 777. 777 is the magic number.
The whole sensational world of Glow, now accessible through one code, *777#. Magic lives here.
Introducing the School Aid app, the all-new mobile app that prepares students for senior secondary examinations in a simple, friendly, interactively enhanced teaching and learning of the most difficult to understand subjects. The School Aid app is built to help students learn at individual pace with lots of flexibility and access to unlimited learning materials, including audio and visuals. The School Aid app is simply the unlimited study app that will help you learn, take mock exams, see your score, check your preparedness, and help you pass your national examinations with ease. The School Aid app covers subjects in sciences, arts, and social sciences. It's simply the app that every student needs to pass WAEC, NECO, JAMB, and more. To get started, download the app from your Google or Apple store, register, and start learning. Learning have never been easier and more fun. School Aid app. We aid you to success.
Airtel is saying thank you to all loyal customers in the Airtel Thanks Cash Token Rewards. Each subscriber stands a chance to win up to 100 million naira every week. To opt in, dial *479# and follow the prompts. To qualify, simply recharge your Airtel number. Each cash token gets you an 8 naira instant cash back, plus a chance to win up to 100 million naira weekly in the National Cash Token Draw, showing every Saturday by 9:30 p.m. on AIT and 8 p.m. on Pop Central DSTV channel 189. All transactions done on *479# are rewarded with more cash tokens, and you can also check your cash token balance via the same code. Only loyal customers of the smartphone network are entitled to the Airtel Cash Token Reward. For more information, simply dial *479# or visit www.airtelthanks.ng. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The APC-led government is constructing 300,000 affordable housing units.
The road projects presently are undergoing construction and rehabilitation across the country.
25,000 megawatts to improve electricity.
The APC government is currently embarking on the construction and rehabilitation of 37 major bridges nationwide, aimed at easing traffic flow and create economic opportunity.
Gas as an essential is a focus-driven target of the APC-led federal government.
Renovations of airports such as the Akanu Ibiam International Airport in Enugu,
the Itakpe Ajaokuta Warri Rail, and Lagos-Ibadan double-track standard gauge are the first of its kind in West Africa. APC. Promises made. Promises kept. Go and revalidate your card and register your membership.
I am Governor Yabelo of Kogi State, Chairman, Youth, Women and People Living with Disabilities Mobilization and Sensitization Committee of the APC Membership Registration and Revalidation Exercise 2021, and I approve this message.
I dey look for pension fund administrator, wey soft, make sense, wey care for me, shy. No be the type wey story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Stress you, call them, then they accessible. Customer care where they on point. No go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment, everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
For you to tanda for this world, you got know what's up. Sabi waiting day ground, then start to do your own. Get ginger to study every. Because when you fit see the different side of the world, anything they possible. BBC News for Pidgin. Make your life better.
By the magical coast of the Atlantic, the luxurious residential towers with contemporary interiors that accentuate a genuine sense of serenity and contentment, featuring world-class amenities and social areas, where everyone can spend the best times from the comfort of home. For those who seek the best shape, and the little precious ones who do not hide but always seek. Excellence is an idea significantly resembled in the new coastal gem, which offers invincible opportunities of fine living and investment. Invest in Paramount Twin Towers by Grenadines Homes. Live the excellence.
Welcome back. Despite the challenges the country is currently grappling with, Nigerians are to have hope for a better future for the nation. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo rekindled this hope while speaking at the 16th Biennial Conference of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, PFN, holding in Enugu. Susan Eze reports.
The attendance of the Vice President to this gathering of Pentecostal leaders from across the country, of which the VP is a member, underscores the relevance of the biannual conference to the spiritual rejuvenation of the fellowship, the members, and the nation at large. Speaking from the perspective of the theme of the conference, the unquenchable light.
Brethren, the future of our nation is bright. A strong and united and prosperous country is in the process of being born. We are experiencing some birth pangs, painful and difficult, but this will end, and we will celebrate the birth of a new nation. Enjoy.
In appreciation of their support to the PFN, both the Vice President and Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State received awards as defenders of the faith from the fellowship.
The PFN Enugu State Chapter has been outstanding in our prayerful support and wise counsel to our administration. It has indeed evolved as a major partner in our endeavor to make life more meaningful for the good people of Enugu State.
The Vice President commended the PFN for a smooth election that changed the leadership of the fellowship, wishing the outgone National President, Reverend Dr. Felix Omobude, well in his future endeavors and a successful tenure for the new President, Bishop Wale Oke, and his team. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
hope for peace and unity in Nigeria is the unanimous position of stalwarts of the People's Democratic Party. Former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode and Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State at a meeting in Abuja with some members of the Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers of Nigeria against the impending food blockade in some parts of the country. Timothy Yusuf has that.
This meeting is to further propagate the message of peace, tolerance, patience, and spirit of one Nigeria among various ethnic groups, irrespective of tribe and religion. Conveners believe that the need for peace to reign in the country is not negotiable under any guise and call on traders across the country not to engage in any form of reprisal attacks on one another, no matter the level of provocation.
I give thanks to God for our leader, President Buhari, the president of this country. I thank God for every situation that we have found ourselves in, no matter how difficult it might be. Because what this meeting has shown me is that there is hope for peace and unity in this country.
All we need is peace, unity, and togetherness.
Through the governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, we agree to call off this nationwide strike today.
Representatives of the members of the union prayed for a peaceful environment for all to trade in all parts of the country. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The recent tension that flooded some schools in part of the country following abduction of students dominated national discourse on a wide range, with firm commitment by government to tackle the recurring breach of peace and secure the learning environment on all fronts. These resolutions born out of the burning desire to nip in the bud the growing threats to peace by bandits and other criminal elements resonated during NTA Tuesday Live. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Apprehension and disappear brought by bandits across schools in some of the northwest and north-central states have plunged many families into a pool of tears and endless sorrows. These unfortunate incidents are propelling tougher government approach to contain the criminal use of force by bandits to adopt students and demand ransom for their release.
We must be prepared to take the fight to them, but we must not, for any reason, close school because some are going into to kidnap our children. What we need to do is to beef up the security in those schools.
Governors now prepared to ensure that we fence all the boarding schools and also ensure that we have security for all boarding schools. Otherwise, we'll continue to have some of these kidnappings going on. People commit criminality and they go away free. If we have them in some places, let us show evidence that they are being prosecuted and also they are jailed.
Commitment of stakeholders is also frowning at negotiation with bandits and shifting attention to addressing farmers' herders' crisis, improve nomadic system, and create platforms for continued dialogue.
People have been monetized. They have weaponized it. Big girls, big boys, these are soft targets. They are vulnerable. They are defenseless. They can be picked. You pick them, you get 20 million, 40 million. Why do I have to go and spend my time in the market trying to earn 100 a day?
We should go beyond this traditional, thinking of security. If we know that our borders are porous and the arms are coming from within our borders, I think that that's just one aspect. What about the arms that have been produced within the country?
As stakeholders' efforts are being intensified through Safe School Initiative and robust security network, the collective desire of meeting national aspiration remain key as future conversations on security continue to dominate the media space. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Like the saying goes, all is well that ends well. Some parents of the rescued students of Government Girls Secondary School, Jengibi, says they will not withdraw their daughters from the school despite the sad event. The parents who are were full of joy and happiness over the safe return of their daughters, however, emphasized the need for government to fortify schools across the state and indeed the country with a view to averting reoccurrence of the unfortunate incident. Sadia Abubakar Channel has more.
The Friday last week abduction of 279 students at Government Girls Science Secondary School Jangebe in Talata Mafara local government area of Zamfara State is the first attack on school by armed bandits in the history of security challenges that have bedeviled Zamfara State for almost a decade now. The unfortunate incident, which happened around 1 a.m. on the fateful day when the student had retired to bed, made devastating effect on the school and the Jangebe community as a whole. The bandits were said to have entered the properly fenced school through its main gate, and they chased away the only one watchman on duty.
The bandits come and yes, so continue the shouting, and they catch all the students in the school and run away with them.
The sad event led to the immediate withdrawal of the narrowly escaped students from the school by their parents, as the Zamfara State government also directed for the immediate closure of all boarding schools across the state. This sad development has raised serious concern and apprehension amongst the general public, especially parents, on the safety of their children in schools.
We still have to be careful now before we now take any decision on returning them or not returning them, because you cannot feel free now. You have to now look at where it's more secure.
Zamfara State Commissioner for Education Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi said appropriate steps have been taken to scale up security in all schools across the state.
That is already in place. That's already in place. I've just received even one memo from His Excellency, from the police, on how to inculcate the spirit of security consciousness among the school managements and the students as well. So we're on course, inshallah.
As all the boarding schools in Zamfara State remain closed, it is now the expectation of the general public that enhanced security measures will be put in place before their reopening. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Well, that was Jibril's report. Now, Agara, remember the name? Yes, it is in the news again, but not like the last time. This time, it is for the right reason. It is a small town with a reflection of the abundant natural gift which Nigeria is blessed with. Agara in Niger State, Abdullahi Mohammed says, has been a rallying point for diverse people of Nigeria with a commitment to peaceful coexistence.
This part of Niger State is blessed with a landscape sheltered by rocks, intertwined with contours high and low. The fertility of the land makes it a focal point for diverse people. More than 7 dialects are spoken here, and only when you conduct full-fledged research that you find out that the people of Kagara are of different extractions. Peaceful they have been, but of the banditry which brought suspicion and distrust.
What is happening now, inshallah, we pray so it's going to be a story.
Amen. That's our prayer, that with God all these problems will solve. And we are still thanking the Niger State government. They are trying their best.
That dent I put behind me when I say goodbye to the town I fall in love with in only 2 weeks.
By the time I was about to bid farewell to Rafi local government area in Niger State, a stop on this bridge keeps memory of so many things that I saw, especially nature at play here.
Behold, the captivating spirit which led the colonial masters there held me sway. I watched as the rapids twist the waters, so amazing. I did not pass without paying respect to some of the fallen heroes who initiated the amalgamation in 1914. When I strolled down the highland where they lay peacefully, I saluted their move and thanked God for making me a Nigerian. In Abuja, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Proudly Nigerian, any day, any time. Thank you so much, Mohammed. Now, the Amalgamated Union of Food and Cattle Dealers of Nigeria has suspended its strike action, characterized by blocking the supply of foodstuff and cattle to the southern part of the country. This followed the intervention by Governor Yahya Bello of Kogi State, mandated by the President for lasting solutions to the problem in view of its impact on the nation's security and socio-economic well-being. The governor, leaders of the union and former ministers of aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, addressed newsmen after a meeting with the chief of staff to the president, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, where some demands were presented to government for necessary action.
Resolve the issue, whereby there will be normalcy across the country. Here is the president of the association, and along with my brother here, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, we have been on this matter for the last 3 to 4 days. We've gotten the commitment of both sides to sheath their sword. The association demanded that there are his members that were killed. They are requiring that compensation be paid for the lives and livelihood that were destroyed in the south. All those who committed those crimes should be brought to justice. The harassment by law enforcement agencies on our federal highways be stopped. The extortion by all touts along the federal highways, especially from northeast or from the north to south and southeast particularly, be stopped. We have presented those demands to the government because before now they have reached out to every authorities on the land and there seems to be no response or positive response to their demand. In order that we don't continue to have this hardship across the country, I've gotten the commitment of the union to lift their ban on the transportation of food items and livestock to the south.
We call off our nationwide strike. We need peace in this country. We need to maintain peace in this country. We're Nigerian. So now we are waiting to what the action to want to see practical from our government.
Had it not been for this intervention, things would have got much worse. Already things were getting bad. A goat that would have cost 150,000 in the south before, in some parts had gone up to 800,000, 1 million within a matter of days. We extracted commitments from the main players in the southwest who had in the past indulged in some form of violence or the other, and who was seen as the protectors of the people of the southwest, and who gave a firm commitment that they would not only ensure that the Hausa Fulani population in the southwest would not be attacked and would not be harassed, but they also went as far as to say that they would protect them as best as they could from those misguided elements that seek to attack and kill them. And that's a major commitment. Also, Governor Seyi Makinde was involved, His Excellency involved him, as he did and communicated to other governors in the southern part of the country, particularly the southwest, and all of them were carried along by His Excellency. And we have a joint commitment to ensure that people of Hausa Fulani extraction, indeed from anywhere outside of the south, will be safe down in the south.
In the meantime, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum of Borno State has called for synergy and its neighboring countries towards tackling security challenges. He was speaking at the opening of the 4th Northeast Governors Forum meeting in Bauchi. The meeting, which is the 4th in its series, centers on issues of development and security challenges in the region. Some of the issues raised at the meeting includes the need for member states to bridge security gaps in their respective states, formation of regional security, and the speedy dispensation of justice on the terrorists.
Issue of de-radicalization of Boko Haram terrorists who have been captured or have willingly surrendered themselves to the authorities for greater efficiency
and urge you all to embrace this initiative, own it, and help mobilize resources for it, being an area of mutual interest and comparative advantage of all the states of the sovereignty.
The governors are still in a closed-door session. It is about time people of Jigawa State, tormented by rapists and perpetrators of other violent crimes, heave a sigh of relief. You may ask how. This is because the state governor, Mohammed Badaru Abubakar, has finally signed into law the State Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill that attracts life sentences for rapists, among other offences. Let's go to Mohammed Musa Askira for details.
Over the years, Jigawa State is on the sad note, leading other states in the country with a alarming rate of sexual violence, mostly involving vulnerable minors from poor families. This coupled with lack of suitable legal framework to punish the offenders even when they are arrested on grounds of difficulty in proving cases in the courts of law. The situation, stakeholders say, has aided the perpetration of more rape cases among other sexual violence because there is no deterrent to scare the rapists from indulging in such criminal acts. This has necessitated the transmission of the Jigawa State Executive Bill for the prohibition of violence against persons with special focus on rape cases.
If you contribute in any way towards committing the offense of rape, the punishment will be the same. That is death sentence or life imprisonment.
The bill has been passed into law by Governor Muhammadu Badaru Abubakar, approving all the 57 points recommendations made by the State House Committee on Judiciary. Topmost among the recommendations is the punishments for the offense of rape under Section 3 to be life imprisonment, and where the offender infects the victim with HIV/AIDS, the offender shall be sentenced to death without option of fine. The new law now provides that a victim of rape be compensated with a sum of not less than 500,000 naira. It further stipulated that a person who attempts to rape shall on conviction be punished with imprisonment for a term no less than 14 years without option of fine.
It's a promise I made that I will never ever compromise any case of sexual offense. I will never, no matter what. Whenever a case is brought up, I will ensure that we see it to logical conclusion, except if we couldn't prove it. That is something which is not under my control.
With this law in effect, the public expectations are now on its application to secure justice for the victims of sexual violence, among other violence against persons in Jigawa State. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
Efforts have continued towards the quest for a more accountable Nigerian police force, particularly in the area of human rights violations. Part of such efforts came again this week through a Situation Room update held in Abuja between human rights, civil society organizations and the Nigerian police. Femi Okewo takes us through the Situation Room and what transpired there.
This is not the first attempt to inculcate into the Nigerian police human rights values and tenets. In fact, for as far back as 2010-2011, various civil society bodies like Power, sponsored by foreign donors, had taken the human rights gospel round all police formations across Nigeria. Human rights courses are part of the curriculum of the Police Staff College in Wudil. But with the NSAS outburst by the Nigerian population, the civil society organizations and indeed the Nigerian police acknowledge that there's so much to be done. So, at the safe Situation Room held in Abuja, both the police and several concerned civil society organizations put on the discussion table other areas that need to be tackled.
We believe strongly that accountability is one of the key measures or key ways of curbing impunity. Impunity with regards to human rights violations by security agencies, not limited, of course, to the Nigerian police. Having a transparent, efficient system will go a long way in improving enjoyment of human rights.
We don't want to run into the same pitfall that SARS fell into by reason of duplicity. What we're trying to do is to make sure that if we're going to replicate ourselves across the states, we have to do that carefully.
With the signing of the Police Act in 2020, the first review of the police since 1948, stakeholders hope that problematic areas of police operations will now be easier to pick out. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
Wondering why I'm smiling and happy? Well, I have this question. What's your story with power supply? Well, still to come, the other side of the good old sunshine that gives credence to the saying that the best things in life are free. Stay with us for these and more stories when we return.
Get your limited edition packs now before the final whistle blows. If life were a game where every choice brought you closer to your dream, would you stay where you're appreciated? Or would you somehow take that first step to changing things for yourself? At ARM Pensions, it's not about who you are, it's about who you play with. Join the team that appreciates you. Switch to ARM Pensions today.
See how much it now looks better. Golden pennies and movita. New look, the same great taste. Golden pennies and movita.
New look, same great taste with natural ingredients. Contains proteins that help maintain a balanced diet.
New look, same great taste.
Golden penny semovita, your soul food.
Son, being good at something requires strength. It requires putting in more. That's why the new improved Bonvita is packed with vitality and a richer, creamier taste.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol, Dettol.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol Sure.
We are Dettol, Dettol Sure.
Like a bird needs wings to fly, you need skills to be productive. No matter the level of your education, ITF can train you to acquire skills in areas like mechatronics, metal machining, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, information and communication technology, ICT, culinary art, and agriculture. Acquire a skill and transform yourself from being unemployed to becoming even an employer. Be a valuable Nigerian youth. Say no to unemployment and poverty.
I'll spread my wings and fly so high. I'll reach for the stars, yeah, it's time.
Industrial Training Fund, developing the nation's human resource.
Great to have you back. Association of Nigerian Development Finance Institutions says it will continue to provide affordable finance to drive socio-economic development in the country. President of the association, Olukayode Pitan, stated this at a meeting in Abuja. Musa Abubakar reports.
The last time CEOs of Association of Nigerian Development and Finance Institutions met like this was in 2014. Now members representing regional and states have gathered here to discuss strategies to make the association more active. This is in a bid to position the association to carry out specialized and microfinancial services as well as facilitate productive growth in the real sector of the economy.
We are pushing the frontiers of financing into the states and rural areas. We are getting feedbacks from the investment companies, people like us in BOI, Nexim and the others. We can fine-tune our products to help the real sector to actually give them the type of products that will lead to growth.
The more we
meet together as an association, the more beneficial it will be for all the members, as well as the organizations that are represented for the betterment of the Nigerian economy.
So we're all excited, and we think very soon we will see new efforts that will bring to bear on the country developments.
Inputs on how to move the organization forward were considered, and executive council members voted to steer the activities of the association. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar.
And accelerating the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals in Algeria has led to a nationwide review of the Social Investment Program. Chimabi Walter Naji is right here with the rest of the story on business news. So Chimabi, what is the aim of this review?
All right, indeed, Fatih. This review is aimed at, achieving Nigeria's part in the implementation of the SDGs and reducing poverty in Nigeria through government's efforts at lifting over 100 million Nigerians from poverty in 10 years. The Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, in collaboration with other development partners, has begun a 4-day stakeholders consultation and sensitization workshop for the Northeast, Northwest zones for the review of the National Social Protection Policy. The zonal consultation is also aimed at eliciting inputs on key social protection issues, identifying gaps, challenges, and underlining priorities at the sub-national levels of government. Declaring the workshop open in Kano, the Permanent Secretary, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Olushola Ido, stressed that the zonal consultations were critical as Nigeria strived towards achieving the Nigeria Agenda 2030. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria has released 50,000 metric tons of maize into the Nigerian market in fulfillment of its pledge to reduce the price of the commodity. The release was done through the Anchor Borrowers program to measure poultry feed producers and poultry producers in the country. A release by the Corporate Communications Department of the CBN indicates that the facilitated release of the 50,000 metric tons of maize in the second week of February has made an impact as the maize market has recorded a reduction in price from 200,000 naira per metric tons to about 180,000 naira per metric tons. It is still anticipated that the current will further reduce. It will be recalled that the Central Bank of Nigeria had in January this year announced to release 300,000 metric tons of maize into the Nigerian market. This is to bridge these shortfalls in production and augment local production of the commodity. We now turn our attention to the capital market, where investors lost 91.86 billion naira as the NSE All-Share Index dips further by 0.44% to close at 39,697.62 basis points as against 0.59% depreciation recorded previously, continuing the week-long profit-taking in the nation's bourse. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at 1.86%. Market breadth closed negative as Seplat led 16 gainers as against 29 losers, topped by Japol Oil at the end of today's session, an unimproved performance when compared with the previous outlooks. Market turnover closed positive as value moved up by 9.78% as against minus 59.08% downtick recorded in the previous sessions. Zenith Bank, Guarantee and UCAB were the most active to boost market turnover. Zenith Bank and Guarantee topped market value list. And that's the business news. I now hand over to Fatima Buba for the rest of News Extra.
Well, thank you so much, Mobi, for other business package. Now, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has urged stakeholders in the Niger Delta region to stop playing politics with the development of Nigeria's oil-rich region and allow the Commission carry out its constitutional mandate as an interventionist agency of the federal government. Senator Uzodimma made the plea while playing host to the interim management of NDDC at Government House, Owerri. Osinachi Abraham reports that the management team also inspected some road projects in Imo State.
The visit is part of the peace tour by the NDDC interim management to unite stakeholders and expedite actions that will bring concrete development in the Niger Delta region. Governor Uzodimma, while commending President Muhammadu Buhari for the appointment of Akwa as the interim administrator, warned stakeholders in the region to shun playing politics and allow the Commission carry out its constitutional mandate.
I think as leaders, we should encourage dialogue and engagement. If there are things that are not going well in NDDs, I must summon the courage to invite the leadership or the management to advise on the best way to go about it.
The NDDC boss, while urging the governor to bring in his wealth of experience to bear in the master plan of the NDDC, donated waste disposal trucks to address challenges of waste management in Imo State.
You can hear from the governor. He's advising us to continue with the good work. He's appreciative of the offer that we have made to the state and is ready to partner with us.
Akwa and his management team also inspected 8-kilometer Umokene roads in Obinze and Avo Adapam Etekuru abandoned roads and urged the contractors handling the project to return to site.
It's not enough to say, oh, I'm rushing up to 10-20 kilometers, yet when you leave, the earthwork and the resources you are putting in would have been washed away. We don't want it.
The team also assessed the state of facilities at the Imo State NDDC office and called for immediate rehabilitation of facilities. From Imo State, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
And from Imo, we'll head to Bauchi, where Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State has concluded a 3-day tour of projects embarked upon by his government with words of satisfaction. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports that the governor assures that he is being guided by the clear understanding of what was, what is, and what should be.
From the drylands of the north to the wetlands of the south, Governor Bala Mohammed is changing the face of Bauchi State and the fortune of its people through his infrastructure renewal initiative and empowerment projects. So far, the construction of 30 new roads have been embarked upon across the 3 senatorial zones of the state, some of which have been completed, while others are at various levels of completion. Also, the 2,000 mass housing units under construction in the 6 emirate councils of Bauchi State have all reached completion level.
We are going back to the drawing board. We will assess what we have seen, because already I have done some evaluation based on the established practice of basic engineering management and evaluation of all the areas and projects.
On education, Governor Bala Mohammed's intervention in this sector has seen the reconstruction and rehabilitation of over 300 primary and junior secondary schools across the 20 local government areas of Bauchi State.
Our timeline is okay. We are still on course. The only thing I have discovered is that there are so much decay and dilapidation, and people are expecting too much, and the resources are very scarce. We really have to look inward, reduce waste, and free resources to do more and more.
The decision by Governor Bala Mohammed to declare a state of emergency on the health sector has paved way for the construction and upgrade of primary health care centers and hospitals in addition to manpower development.
There are areas of concern, but generally I'm very, very satisfied with the level of execution of the projects and programs that they have awarded. They have even exceeded my expectations.
With the construction of a brand new Hajj camp along the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa International Airport, Governor Bala Mohammed has assured of equity in the distribution of these state resources. In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed, NTA News.
Now, if you are in Nigeria and you rely on public power supply for residential or industrial use, then you shouldn't be told that it is grossly inadequate. Many have resigned themselves to fate and embraced generating sets as alternative source of power supply without regards to the negative effects on health and climate. One renewable and clean energy source, which is solar, has posed itself as exceedingly abundant in the country. But how well has Nigeria embraced this alternative energy source and harnessed the resource? Justin Bemuyi will tell us more about this.
As it stands today, the country has recorded a peak grid electricity of 5,615 megawatts, and the Transmission Company of Nigeria (TCN) says this has been the highest so far in history. Despite this milestone achieved, electricity demand estimates and projections for the country suggests that demand is already substantial and increasing rapidly due to population and income growth. Self-generation in Nigeria is extremely prevalent. Nearly 14 gigawatt capacity exists in small-scale diesel and petrol generators.
Over the years, the focus has largely been on upgrade systems. Even in the last few months, the ministry, working with our partners, have commissioned close to 50 mini-grid projects, mostly solar.
Solar initiatives seem to have made much better headway recently. In 2017, two communities in Kaduna celebrated 2 years of uninterrupted power from the 90 kilowatt solar photovoltaic off-grid system installed in the areas. Also in October 2016, Nigeria's first solar plant was inaugurated in the University of Ibadan. Just 8 months after this, another solar project, the completion of the first set of solar-powered estates in Abuja, was announced in June 2017.
For us to be able to join the other League of Nations, there must be one enabling environment. There must be that conscious and deliberate effort to ensure that you are working towards, achieving a result in a particular field or area. And in this case, we're talking about the solar source of energy.
The federal government is spending money, but the federal government needs to spend more money. This is the point that I'm making. You see, if you make solar cells in the country, the price, the cost of these solar panels will drop substantially. It may even get up to 60% or half of it.
Justin Bemuyi, NTA News.
So far, so good. Another time out at this point. When we return, correspondent shares strong messages that underscore the need for man to stop the unhealthy exploitation of wildlife. Keep it locked on News Extra.
So smooth. Party with a legend in the making. Spend it as we get it, better spread is what we baking. Say it out, I mean it, girl, the word is for the taking. But how I do my thing, smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth. But how I do my thing, working like I'm buzzing, bet I'm bugging for the honey. But how I do my thing, smooth, that's on everything. Smooth, 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 smooth.
Mommy is ready to receive me a bundle of joy. Mommy is making my home cleaner and safer. We are Dettol, Dettol.
Illnesses can happen at home too. That's why Dettol and me together will make my baby's home safe and to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs. That's why moms want to be Dettol. Dettol Sure.
We are Dettol, Dettol Sure.
And that's all we have on today's edition of the Trophy Live Trivia. But before I go, I just want to say this. Keep your energy up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You dey walk now, guy. You dey also go. You deserve a trophy with your fellow honorables. Anything you do that gives you the kick is worth recognition. Just look at yourself in the mirror and say, wow, now honorable I be you. And even when we are feeling so stressed up, we can ginger each other up and share some good bottles of Trophy Lager. Because anyhow we be, when honorables gather, we share We dream and we win together. My name is still Files, aka Files, the bad guy. Honorable Wagbayi.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Logo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTA stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
Thanks for staying. This next story is one that shows there is hope yet for the country's industrial growth. Now, hear this. For Nigeria to have a strong economy, entrepreneurs must look inwards for the technology required to drive the country's production system. This is coming from young Nigerian inventors at the annual Gombe Exposition of Science, Technology and Innovation. Emmanuel Akila will give us the rest of the story.
Slowly but steadily, the Gombe State Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation is bringing the creativity of young inventors to the fore. The idea is not restricted to youths in the formal education system, but it is a forum to harness the ingenuity of creative minds in finding solutions to the country's technology needs.
I call on our youth to avail themselves of these opportunities and work hard to ensure speedy development of indigenous technology as a catalyst for the socio-economic development of the state and the nation at large.
Inventors in Gombe State have a platform and the opportunity to grow. And the success story is that Gombe State is now a producer of complementary feed, a specialized diet for combating malnutrition.
And the COVID-19 pandemic has shown us how vulnerable we are. With His Excellency's approval, we swung into action, and today, inshallah, His Excellency is unveiling the complementary feeding for children who are moderately malnourished.
For Sadiq Suleiman, who invented a drone, artisans, and communication technology invention hopefuls, the exposition is an encouragement for them to actualize their dreams. Inventors display their productions that are aimed at providing solutions to the difficulties in agriculture, security, and production of all kinds of wares for local markets. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
And to Lagos now, there are over 40 bridges in Lagos critical to daily transportation needs. However, one bridge remains a talking point as the busiest and longest of the 3 bridges connecting the island and mainland of Lagos. Dr. Ogunyemi reports of measures taken to maintain this important bridge in Nigeria's commercial capital.
Was the fulfillment of a promise kept after over 7 months of repair works on the 3rd mainland bridge, which officially reopened on the 28th of February 2021. This development, which had been delayed on several occasions, came as a huge relief to motorists.
I stay in Ikorodu, and if I miss the ferry, then I have to go through all the way down to Ikorodu Road, down to my office. But now, since the bridge is open, I think, today, I really enjoyed my ride. It was so smooth, and well, kudos to the federal government.
In a city like Lagos, where movement is fast-paced and end-to-end, the 3rd mainland bridge is one critical infrastructure that delivers this need. As at today, the bridge handles over 70,000 cars in a straight traffic flow on a daily basis. Although repairs on the bridge's superstructure have been completed, necessitating the full reopening, the rehabilitation project is far from over.
Many negotiated, they didn't know that the bridge was suspended on jacks and the traffic was still ongoing. So we are going to do the same thing on the other side, which is on the inbound to Lagos. We're going to suspend the bridge on jacks and replace the 6 damaged bearings, which will take roughly 1.5–2 months to complete. But there will be no disruption of the traffic.
This latest rehabilitation was carried out on an area of 3.5 kilometers between Adekunle and Adeniji ends of the bridge.
With this comprehensive maintenance, what we are left with is only the periodic one, which are minor ones and which will be going on periodically. But the major rehabilitation like this, we don't foresee that one in the nearest future.
To thank all the professional bodies, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Nigerian Institute of Civil Engineers, the Nigerian Institute of Structural Engineers. While the work was going on, they were always here to give us professional advice. And this has really contributed immensely to the progress and the success that we have achieved concerning the rehabilitation of a third mainland bridge.
According to the ministry, a total sum of 4 billion naira will be expended on the emergency rehabilitation and maintenance of the third mainland bridge. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
The Namibian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Mr. Humphrey Gaiseb, has expressed satisfaction with the successes and technological drive achieved by Federal Road Safety Corps, as he seeks for a veritable ground for Namibia and Nigeria to explore cooperation in the area of road safety and crash reduction. The High Commissioner stated this during his visit to the national headquarters of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Abuja. He says that Namibia has found FRSC as a model to be domesticated in his country, noting that his visit was to find out what the FRSC has put in place to mitigate crashes in Nigeria that has led to massive reduction in deaths and injuries on the roads, so as to replicate his success story in Namibia. The Corps Marshal FRSC Boboe Oyeyemi commended the commitment of Namibian government to the safety of lives and property in their country and the existing mutual relationship between the two countries. He noted that the Corps achieved great success through a series of comprehensive support received from successive governments in Nigeria, beginning from 1988 when the Corps was established. He also pointed other strategic interventions and supports from international donors. And to sports now, Nigeria wrestlers to resume camp Saturday in preparation for African and Olympic qualifiers. Details on our sports update.
Welcome to Sports Update. The Nigeria Wrestling Federation will open camping on Saturday, March 6 in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State to prepare wrestlers for the African Championships and the Africa Oceania Championships, an Olympic qualifying events built for El Jadida in Morocco next month.
In each of the Olympic weight classes that we intend to feature and ensure that each person has about 6 matches over a 2-day period. I think if we do that, we will have had every athlete going to compete at about 10 matches under their belt.
To football now, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, has begun hearing of the appeal filed by CAF President Ahmad against his 5-year ban from football by FIFA. Ahmad is hoping to overturn the ban in a bid to register for next week's CAF presidential election. Similarly, the UK Parliament has launched an inquiry into the link between sports and long-term brain injury. This is to consider the links between head trauma and dementia and how risk can be mitigated. A 2019 study showed footballers were 3.5 times more likely to die of neurodegenerative disease than any member of the population. And that's Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe.
To a sad one now, veteran broadcaster and Nollywood actor Sadiq Daba died today. He died this evening after a long and excruciating battle with leukemia and prostate cancer. Sadiq Daba worked with the NTA and featured in various Nollywood movies. Sadiq Daba died at about 8 o'clock this evening. And with that, we conclude News Extra for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. But before I go, remember that rape is evil, so be a star. Stay connected with NTA and stand against rape and rapists. Stay blessed.